And now I'm not alone on stage because we already have three amazing people up here with me. We're going to talk a little bit about what is Sweden Game Conference, what is Sweden Game Arena, and stuff like that. But I want to introduce you, and maybe you can also add some words about who you are. So here we have Magnus Ling. We have Petersson, sorry, and we have Tobias Karlsson.
Yeah.
Maybe Magnus, you want to start. Who are you and what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to take it very short. So I'm project manager for Sweden Game Arena and also organizing a Sweden Game Conference here together with my colleagues here on stage.
And Tao?
I work part-time as the community overlord for Sweden Game Arena, and also with that comes doing this conference and a lot of other events during the year.
Yeah, and I am a game developer, game researcher, and game teacher, and I work for the University of Skövde, and of course with these wonderful people to arrange this conference.
Cool. Really good to have you here up the stage. So let's start off with answering the question, what is the purpose of Sweden Game Conference?
Well, I mean, we are bold enough to say that it is the leading European games conference for students and startups. So I think we have to live up to that, and it's a tough one. But the ambition is to take a slice of the industry and bring it here. That is the thing for our students, for our startups, because I think originally it started with everybody can't afford to go to GDC. Cost like $2,000 or something just for like a full access pass. So we tried to do something like a smaller thing here, but also to create networks and get the foot into the industry. So we create some sort of attraction for what we do, and also that you want to join. So I think that is the main part here, and obviously cater for our community, which is a big sort of mix of individuals.
So how long have you been running Sweden Game Conference now?
Well, I would say officially this is the 11th year, but in a, more scaled up version since 2016, when we moved back then to the arena here, because we couldn't really host everybody in our science park. So cool. 11 years.
That's impressive. But Tobias, so you work at the university. Could you talk a little bit more about how the university fits into all of this?
The university is kind of like, we are all a community together, but the university part, I would say, is twofold. So we have the first part, which is we have the 8 bachelor programs within each discipline of game development, where we try to teach students how to work as game developers, basically, and the theory surrounding game development in general. So we try to bring the talent into the industry that way, and thus we connect with the game arena, with the companies and so on. And then we also have master programs within serious games and culture, gaming for cultural heritage, game user experience, and game development master for students who want to go the more academic path, as I did myself, for instance, and now I'm a PhD student researching game development. And that kind of becomes the game intelligence part of Sweden Game Arena. So we provide research for the industry and about the industry and gaming. Yeah.
Yes.
And I understand, Magnus, that you work with something called the Game Incubator and the Science Park. Could you tell us a little bit how that fits into this?
Yeah, I mean, like Tobias said, if we have students that have, for example, now students that has a game project that's sort of, okay, here is a potential business coming out of it, then they can apply to our Game Incubator. And if they are accepted in there, after going through some, let's say,
rigorous
screening.
Testing.
Yeah, exactly. Then they get a lot of opportunities, to grow as a company. Because I mean, one thing is that you come in with let's say, a good project when it comes to a game, but then there's so many things related to it when it comes to the business side of things, and obviously the incubator adds those things to your knowledge, and one important thing there is also the networking side, obviously. Okay, you got a great game, but you need to sell it, you need to market it, you need to, as well.
I know.
Right? And for that, I mean, being a newbie in the industry, we are there to help out. And Sweden Game Arena is like the overall umbrella, and the game incubator there is like, let's say that we work together very tightly because Sweden Game Arena arranges all the sort of international events and things like the conference, with the aim also for the startups to be able to step in to the industry and network and sort of make the path shorter, you know, to the market. And especially nowadays, it's even tougher. If you're a no-name, you're a nobody, you just have an idea that is great, but how do I connect? Who do I connect with? And how do I avoid the pitfalls?
Yeah, definitely. We're facing new challenges as well now that everything is digital. You can't go to a conference and just bump into someone. You need to know who to reach out to. So it's definitely a challenge. And
yes, it is.
It's good that you're there to guide people.
That is the ambition. And the conference for our, you know, for Sweden Game Arena, it's very important that this takes place because we get a bit of spotlight on our net, you know, on our community and on our organization, and that leads up to interesting connections with the industry, new ones, and also we can cater for the ones established.
Cool. And Tao, so you mentioned community overlord, very interesting title. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, good question. Well, it means I have the fantastic opportunity to do my best to make this region the best place to be an indie developer or a startup. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, we have a big community here in Skövde, but we also have people in Gothenburg and all around the region who wish to be a part of Sweden Game Arena, to feel like a member, to get this network going, to make sure that everyone feel welcome, and we get this connection to everyone within the industry, like just a message away on Facebook or whatever, Discord usually now, right? And it means all the students here in Skövde, we have the biggest game education. It's like 500 students just here. We have 200 developers in town. The game incubator with the startups, and we have the companies that's already been through the incubator or started up elsewhere and come here. You know, you get the mentorship and the exchange and the extra value by communicating, by having easy access to each other. And the best thing about the game development industry is that everyone loves to share, right? We're not competition. I mean, there's gamers everywhere, and it's a global industry. So I think that's what brings this extra warm, fuzzy feeling of hanging out with other game developers. We're more of a family than competition.
Yeah, and I can say since I'm based in Stockholm, like I've always looked at Skövde and seen the community that you're building here, and I think it's so amazing because it is harder in a bigger city, and we don't have that, especially we haven't had that in the past, because like it's been, you know, the big companies sort of stick to themselves and so on, and like now finally we're trying to build something among the indies and so on, but still like we're so far off, you know, the community that you have. So I think it's really precious what you're building.
Yeah,
here.
but I mean, most companies here in Skövde at least have started from first going to the university, coming through the incubator. When we've done the same journey, so we share the same experiences, and we can learn from each other a lot and help out, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brings us together in a way that makes sure that everyone knows each other.
Yeah, and we have the same thing, like since being a small town, that's a benefit for this type of community, I think. And we do the same thing at the university. I mean, many of the teachers have themselves been down this path as well, so we have the connection to the gaming community already, and we try to instill that in our students as well and talk to them as peers rather than students below us, the student-teacher role. I mean, it's more like a mentorship at the school as well. So we try to infuse the entire community with this warm, fuzzy feeling, as you say. It's a nice term.
Yeah, I mean, so we have all the indies and the startups and the students. So, I mean, we try to bring them together as much as we can in all different types of ways. We do lunch lectures at the university just to make them understand how big the industry is around here. Because, I mean, it's a bit of different worlds, but what Sweden Game Arena is to do the umbrella thing, you know, to bring it all together. And the students are also part of Sweden Game Arena, and their future startups or future talent that we want to recruit in our companies. So that's why we get the whole ecosystem on one space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so you've been doing this for quite some time now. Like, what has it been like this whole journey? Like, what have been the trends? Like, what challenges have you overcome? Any achievements you want to share?
I think one thing was when we started off, like back in 2014, there was money, interesting and very good money, very healthy money, from the financing partners, but it was no real plan. Really, there were a lot of goals set, but then how to reach them, that was a bit unclear. And I think what we've done now along the way is that we have excelled as an organization. We have strategies and goals that actually make sense, I think. And we wouldn't be able to do like this conference if we weren't so tight. I don't think that would have happened 5 years ago. Definitely not. We've also seen what it takes. And I think our partners here, like the university, Next, Skövde, municipality, everybody, and Science Park Skövde AB with the game incubator, I think we have a better understanding of what it takes. But definitely, I mean, we've done like Gamescom. I think it's fantastic when we've been down there with the Swedish flag, 35 studios joining from across Sweden, like one media meeting each hour and lots of good things happening. Nice happy hour.
Yeah, I've been there.
With like 200-300 people
everywhere.
just mingling and so those are things. Right now, I really love the thing that we're doing with the matchmaking that people don't really see here if you're just attending the conference. But there we did one successful event this summer, and now it's like scaled up by 5 times. We have something like 250 participants in the matchmaking that goes on for 48 hours, and some nice names there.
Yeah,
like
that's
EA, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Newly formed Lego Publishing, and a lot of interesting participants. That is something we're proud of, I think, creating this thing when people meet.
Yeah, when you feel that it's a value for someone else. Because before, I think early on in the project, we felt this is what we want to do, we think. But we didn't really, or they, I wasn't part of I was more of the one who wanted to say what we wanted, because I was more of the game developer side. And I think we included more from the community, talking more with them, understanding what they actually need, and not just guessing. And
It was a lot of guessing.
Yeah, and now we've seen, I mean, all the events and all the being Gamescom and stuff. I mean, that's where we listen. What do you want to achieve at Gamescom, and how can we help you do that? What type of, you need talent. How can we do events that help you find talent? We do talk directly to schools that do internships and stuff like that to help them not have to do that on their own. We can do that as an umbrella.
Yeah, and I think that's a strength that and that's been how we work. We kind of listen to the entire community, and since we have the whole food chain among us, we can talk to each other and keep track of everything that's going on. And from the university side, we do that as well. We talk to game companies and we listen to what do they ask for now, and we try to update our programs accordingly. So this year, actually, we updated every single program to like better suit the industry and the needs that we hear coming from there, because university is still government, so it doesn't always work as fast as you would wish, but we try to like combat that obstacle, and we do it together with Sweden Game Arena, and I think it's really beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, and I just want to comment there. I think that has also within the project, one thing is that we sort of have another respect for one another and sort of what the terms are.
I think we're better understanding for each other as well. Like everyone knows where we're going and why, and everyone has been able to put in their why. So the municipality knows why we're a strong game development city and what we can do to keep that growing. So I think, and also for the university side and from the science park side and the incubator side and all the companies, So I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, structured growth, and also not the least thing that was mentioned yesterday about senior development recruitment of senior developers, which is a challenge where we need to work as hard as we can to contribute, and the municipality as well. And there we have a talent access manager who helps out with those things. We need to have offices, we need to have good living for the individuals coming here, and that is also part of what we offer.
Cool. Do you see any have you identified any trends? What were the students like a few years ago? Do you see any Like, what are they better at now than they used to be?
Yeah,
or
well,
stuff
actually,
like that?
there is a trend among students, especially because more and more high schools are offering some sort of game development, or at least I'm mainly an art teacher, or an artist at heart, at least. So what I see is that more and more students know 3D already when they come here. And this has been a challenge because, I mean, we also want to teach people who never touched the 3D modeling software, but still we don't want to be too slow for the ones who already know it. So we need to, like, we have tried to manage our courses so that everyone will feel that they get something from it, even if you're a beginner or if you're intermediate. But yeah, that's a trend that I see, that more and more people come to the school already knowing something. And I think that's great. And it puts pressure on us as well, because we need to rethink how we do things. Yeah, that's what I see from my end.
I've also heard I think it goes with the economy as well, and with the game development industry growing, it's becoming more of a real industry. I mean, other people are starting getting it. It's not just playing games all day long, you know. You see a bit more students who aim to get an employment at a bigger company than before. But we also had the indie trend in 2010 to 15, you know, or indie craze. So then everyone was going to start their indie studio doing artsy-fartsy games. And now we see a bit more of a bit more matureness in that. People don't want to have to do the whole risk taking. They want to have a safe employment. And how do they get that? How do they get to that level that is needed to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a maturity, like within the industry as well. Like there is more money, like people with money, like both publishers and investors and so on, are starting to see it as more viable. And I think there's more savvy now. This is just my take on it, but more savvy among indies as well. Like well, of course, it's fun to just make your games and hope for the best. But like I think there's, thanks to stuff like incubators and so on, like there is more an understanding of how to build a business as well. Like you can't just make games. You also need to understand how to sell them, how to market yourself.
Yeah,
and stuff
especially
like
now today when there's 200 games on Steam per week. When we started, if you got on Steam, there was a lady who answered an email on Steam and said, yeah, this looks good enough, we'll put it on, and then you'd be fine. Because you know you'd have guaranteed sales that's going to cover, you know.
Yeah.
But today that's not the case, and I think people are starting to realize that as well.
Yeah.
So I think we get a maturity just by the whole. It's easier to release games, but it's harder to make the money.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
True. And I mean, the uniqueness is still needed more than ever when it comes to a game. And the game incubator today has a little bit tougher verification phase. You need to test your product before you go to, you know. And it's not enough with your mother think that it's great, or your friends or something. You need to go outside of that bubble and challenge yourself. That is a requirement, because the space is filled up. The money is there, the publishers are there, they're just waiting, but they're waiting for good things that stands out.
Definitely. And I think those are good words to end on.